What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here live on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. Jeff, how are you, brother?
My feet are cold, so I'm putting on socks. But John, we just lost that scoop because of the thumbnail.
No,
I'm not gonna I'm not mad at you, but I warned you that headline was gonna be a problem, didn't I?
all I said was the Russos for Avengers 5 again. That's all I said.
John,
the Russos for Avengers.
John, all you said? I mean, what do you mean? That's all you need to say.
I said this on.
Do you think that this is a coincidence?
I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know that these motherfuckers actually pay attention to who the fuck I am. They pay attention to who you are. But I certainly brought this up with Christian Harloff on the Monday show when I said the possibility, what about the Russos coming back to direct Avengers? And Christian Harloff's show gets way more views than we do. And there was no,
11:59 a.m. Please. Come on.
All right.
Okay. Congrats to the Hollywood Reporter on scooping me on my own scoop on this fucking podcast. I hope that they feel good about themselves. But yes, the Russo brothers are coming back.
Is that the real thing? No, but they're saying they're in early talks to return to Marvel Studios to direct not just one, but the next two Avengers movies. So it says here, according to the report, the hiring ends a month-long high-stakes search by the studio for filmmakers to oversee the 5th and 6th Avengers movies. Multiple names were in contention here. Obviously, Sean Levy. Obviously, there were a number of people who were involved in possibly look at it. And this comes on the heels of Waldron stepping down as a writer for Avengers 5. So what do you think happened here, Jeff? Why would they? I know why you would turn to the Russos, I guess, because you're going to bring back all the old actors and all that kind of stuff. But what are your thoughts on all of this?
I mean, they can't get anybody. That's what I heard. They cannot get anybody.
Wow.
Movie.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
In the end, they ended up going back to them and being like, listen, we need to be able to reassure the fans at fucking Comic-Con next week about this movie. Right? We need a director on it.
Well,
you guys are going to.
Yeah, this is what I brought this up again on Monday on the big thing with Christian Harloff. He seemed very adamant that was not going to happen. When did you start hearing that the Russos were in play? Because, I mean, we had earlier reports a couple of weeks ago that they were shot down as possibilities, or that they'd circled away from them. Is it just because and do the Russos want to be like, well, no one else said yes, you're the guys we went with, so welcome back? That looks kind of bad on the Russos, doesn't it? To be like, well, we circled back to you after initially rejecting you, or am I misreading the situation?
No, I mean, from what I understand, they, the Russos were like, hey, we'd love to do this. And Marvel's like, you know what? We're kind of going through our own search right now.
Right.
We have names on our list. Let us go down the line with some of those and see how this thing plays out. But, not at this moment, it's not going to happen.
Wow.
And like I told you all along.
Yeah.
Like I told you all along, Sean Levy's talks were not going to work out.
Yes, you did. Yes.
I mean, guys, I'm fucking on top of this shit. What do you want from me?
Yeah. You're all over.
I know what's up. So, yes, they circled back to the Russos.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna break some more fucking Avengers stuff tonight. I'm not in the newsletter.
On the newsletter, right.
This is pretty cold. But you know what? This is a valuable moment. Because let's talk about this.
Let's do it.
This is a lesson in entertainment journalism.
I guess so, yeah.
I did warn you and say we can't really put that in the headline or in the thumbnail, because I knew it's giving away what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I thought that's how you get people to watch your show.
Now that I know that you want people to watch the show, but you have to. I mean, you can and I bet more people did watch the show because of that headline, right?
Yeah, right. More people watching right now. Yeah,
but at the end of the day, we're not just doing a show in a vacuum. Like the trade reporters are paying attention to this, and there's absolutely no question.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at this, that this is exactly what happened. It's 11:59 a.m. time, guys. The show is announced for noon.
Boris Kit, Aaron Couch, you pricks. Lesson learned, you two little pricks.
I mean,
lesson learned. From my personal, that's my personal opinion. Yeah.
Good for Boris and Aaron. Good. Yeah. I'm sure Marvel is absolutely, fucking Marvel. Believe me. You know what I mean? You know how much fucking shit I get.
Right.
Like, I'm sure Marvel saw the text, saw the tweets, and they were like, "Oh," and I've even thought about calling. Yeah, I thought about calling all week, and I was like, "Should I call? Should I go?" I was like, "Nah, this is just like fucking podcast fodder. It's a rumor. It's not something I'm like, I hadn't been able to confirm it.
Right.
But, and that's why maybe THR is saying early talks, but absolutely. Like,
so you think it's going to happen 100%?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I began hearing 2 days ago. Exactly.
2 days ago, you've been hearing this. But
I wanted to wait for the podcast. I even told Jamie. Jamie's like, "Is this for the newsletter?" And I was like,
"Yep, okay."
It was Monday, right? And so I was like, I'm not going to do it tonight. And I know I'm doing Meryl tomorrow. I knew in my bones I was going to do the Meryl Streep Joni Mitchell story Tuesday. So I was like, maybe I do it Wednesday. But if I do it Wednesday, I do it on, I'm going to talk about it on the podcast first.
Yeah.
That's what you get for waiting.
Well, let's not cry over spilt milk.
I know. You're right. The toothpaste is out of the tube. Now
right. But lesson learned. From now on, you can just say to me, "Remember that THR?" Just a quick text, and that's it. We're end of conversation, and it's totally fine.
Marvel, don't make me go digging for the stuff. All I want is the stuff I kill. Don't make me go digging for this stuff because I will.
Fair enough. Oh, look, someone from the sideline. Yeah, John, you goofed here. I know I've never done a YouTube channel or been successful on my own, and I'm watching you instead of you watching me, but you goofed here. Oh, I'm
not here calling John an asshole. He had a point that he wanted more eyeballs on the show this week, but
right.
It's you have to tease it a certain way.
Yeah, we should have. Well, A fair point.
The bottom line is that they could not get anybody else to do this, and you're going to be wrangling 65, 66, people who are coming back. Plus, I'm sure a few new characters. We're talking 70, 75 characters.
Yeah.
How many people have experience doing this? How many people can have the pressure? How many people want to step up? And if they blow it, all over their face, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, are they the ones though? I mean, like you look at the recent stuff they've done. The Gray Man wasn't good. Cherry wasn't good. And certainly, we're 5 years out of Avengers Endgame, and they'll be sliding in. There's no guarantee that they're going to be able to find the magic again. This is a whole new stable of actors that they haven't worked with, along with these actors that are coming back. Do you think they're going to get Marcus and McFeely now to write this as well? Or do you think they're going to go out to, because I mean, with Waldron stepping down or whatever they said that he left, like however it was mutual or not. I mean, what do you think happens now? Does Marcus and McFeely like Will Ferrell and Anchorman, do they blow into their conch and here comes Marcus and McFeely? What do you think about
that? Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Because it's like Deadline could follow on this shit. Variety could fucking follow on this shit. Yes. I'm told that one of them is coming back to do Avengers 6. And I'm not sure which one, but Marcus, I'm not sure the team is coming back to write Avengers 6.
Okay.
But one of Marcus or McFeely is coming back. I haven't even read all of THR's fucking story. It could be in there. I don't even know.
Right. No, I'm looking at it now. Oh, yeah. In total, blah, blah, blah. In the year since, 5th Avengers, 6th Avengers, all that extra stuff. No, there's no mention of anybody coming back to write Hickman is mentioned in this, but that's about it.
It could end up being both of them that are coming back, but my source literally just texted during the show and said, they heard that one of them is going to be doing it.
Fair enough.
The other one could be dealing with a family thing. You never know, right? And right. Medical thing, who knows? And I think that happens more often than people think.
Yeah. All right. I mean, you got me on my heels, so I don't know what to do here in this moment because
No, I mean,
I want to talk about the story, but
there's what do you mean? We can talk about whatever you want.
Oh, just seeing some of the people in the chat are being assholes about it and jumping in.
Listen, they're giving you shit. They're teasing you, but like
like this, and then the Aloha saying Rocha is like, okay, lesson learned, and you know, somebody else
water under the bridge, dude. It's not like this was something that I had ready to go for the newsletter for tonight. You know, I was going to still lead with the Emmy nominations and everything. So this was still podcast fodder. I don't feel like this is like a big loss for the newsletter, and that's a different story. So, yeah.
But I think we have to approach this.
It's a better story right now. I mean, this is a better segment. I feel like if we just like kind of broke the news, like I'm giving you the inside baseball. There's not even a question that the trades are watching this podcast, and Marvel specifically is watching this podcast and my Twitter feed and dictating how the fucking news flow is going to go.
Boris, Aaron, right here for you. But lesson learned. Learned.
You know, the PMC could just answer an email or hire us or, you know, do something, because I'm telling you, you know what, fuck it. Gloves off. No one listens to anything that the trades produce, whether it's a podcast, a video series. I don't care how many Emmy nominations the shit gets. It's boring content.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, they're not. It's just a bunch of writers sitting in front of a microphone, and they're super boring. And some of their questions, some of their interviews, some of the way they present those, for me, it is, you know,
it's badly produced content. We are really so much more interesting, but
I agree.
We're not gonna go there. Whatever.
Agreed. But like, so what do you think this means though? Now going forward, if they're going to jump on Avengers 5 and 6, does this now are all bets off? Like, does this become a situation where absolutely everybody is coming back, everybody from the first few films going, and does this, you know, a lot of people speculated when the Russo's name was first floated like weeks ago or months ago that this could reek of desperation for a Marvel that is kind of flailing around and has had troubles in the last couple of phases, or last phase really. Do you think this is a way of trying to get people to kind of like, don't look at the man behind the curtain. Here we go again. You know, it's the Russos coming back. Because what if they come back and it spectacularly fails, or is kind of mixed reviews, or isn't as strong as you would like? What happens then?
I mean, what happens if these movies underperform or something?
The first one underperforms. What happens if the Russos come back? No, I don't mean underperforms. I mean, it's like mixed. Look, you know, a lot of the films recently from Marvel have not hit a high mark overall. And so what happens if it comes back and it's not that good? At that point, do you realize there's a Marvel issue?
A return to like gigantic scale in a way that like is almost guaranteed to get people into theaters. Like, again, I think that Marvel needs to scale down its budgets. Do the Fantastic Four for $300 million. Yeah. But if you are going to spend $300 million on a movie, you do so on these Avengers movies. And so I feel like that they can go big in a way that you're not really going to see from the Marvel universe necessarily in the next couple of years, as things maybe get pared down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, what about is this fit into the Bob Iger approach to things? That, okay, we're going to slow down production and supposedly, you know, turn down the budgets, but for this one, we'll turn up the budget. Do you imagine that that's the approach? It's less, but the less will get more of the money? Or do you think it'll be just for special event films like this that you could go to 300 million possibly? Because I mean, all those actors, Jeff, you got to pay them. It's not just about CG. It's not just about special effects. Plus, if you're going to do what I think they're going to do with Secret Wars, which is multiple planets, that's a fucking hell of an undertaking. And that's a lot of money. So do you anticipate like that for something like this, both 5 and 6, they'll be coming close to 300 million for the budget?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do. Particularly if what I've heard, and again, it's the sourcing's been good on this stuff. The same person who basically told me that they were going to come back and do this said that fucking Electric State cost $370. So, some people said after I said that, they're like, well, Snyder's pulling that number out of his ass. Maybe I am. Maybe there's tax rebate. You know, all the shit that the studios say. You know.
Yeah.
But you either believe people or you don't. You either trust your sources or you don't.
Yeah.
And I have no reason to lie. Like, I don't give a fucking shit what it costs. It's still going to cost me $20 when I don't get invited to the press screening anymore.
Yeah.
And Marvel has not invited me to Deadpool and Wolverine either yet.
Really?
I mean, it's like, am I a member of the fucking press or not? Right. I mean, or is it just the schmoes who got added to Rotten Tomatoes this week? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's odd to me. Like, because there's new people in charge in the Disney side of things for publicity.
Oh, so I'm aware.
Okay.
Oh, I'm aware. We haven't named names yet, but I'm aware.
I'm aware. Okay. What else do you want to say about this story? What do you anticipate will be the next bit of news to drop? Like, what's your feeling on this?
I mean, I'm on tilt.
Okay.
I don't want to speculate as to like a Midnight Suns project or that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I'll tell you, you're not making it easy on me.
Me or Marvel?
No, not that Marvel. Like,
yeah.
You know, shit. I was supposed to have a lunch on the books with Disney and Marvel. Never panned out. Dr. Doom's out there, boys. Dr. Doom is out there. Don't make me go doom scrolling.
I thought you'd already had a conversation with Marvel about. I thought you guys came to like an easy truce after what happened on our show.
It's been broken, John.
What's that?
It's been a while since bread has been broken.
Oh,
Hearts have been broken. Scoops have been broken.
Yeah.
Bread has not been broken.
Well, I mean, you know, if you want to break another scoop on here to kind of screw THR, I give you all full license.
Oh, I've said enough.
Okay. All right. So when do you anticipate that they would go in front of the cameras for this one, man? Do you think it's next year? Do you think it's like 2027? What are your thoughts on this?
What is the movie's dated for when?
What is the movie?
2027, right?
Yeah, I think it is 2027. Yeah.
I can't even keep track of all the fucking date changes. You know that there'll be more too.
Of course.
I mean, I think next year.
You think so? They'll start shooting next year. Okay.
Yeah. I think that they will start shooting next year.
Okay.
And
what happens with Kang? Are the rumors for Coleman?
I'll be sure to find out. I'll be sure to ask around. And we won't tease it in the goddamn headlines. You can have a layup next time.
I'm sorry about that. In the future, no more. And I think I misunderstood what you said is we could retitle the show after we do it. So I guess in the future, when we've got something big like this, we'll break it on the show and then I'll retitle the show.
All is Big Scoop coming.
Yeah, there we go. Big scoop coming. All right, that's what we'll do from now on. Big scoop coming, and we'll drop it on the show for sure. All right. Anyway, well, listen,
guys, it's like a lot of that stuff will drop on the newsletter. If you're subscribing to my newsletter, I want you to get bang for your buck.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing where it's like,
yep.
Is it good for a newsletter, or is it more like something to bat around on a podcast because it's not confirmed? And you have to also understand that we're on a timer.
Yeah.
Because we have to get in front of Comic-Con next week.
Yeah, right.
I think that Marvel really wanted that announcement to wait until Comic-Con.
And
I think that's when you'll get your confirmation.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, what does this do for their stuff for Marvel? I guess I guess there's a real possibility you could start dropping stuff before Comic-Con, and maybe
who knows what could happen.
It's a bit of a warning to Marvel, like, hey, reach out to Jeff.
We can get along. Well, I mean, listen, we did this to ourselves. I can't be too mad at Marvel, but it's like
no.
This was a coordinated effort.
Yeah, for sure. I had no idea, Boris.
Who are you trying to bullshit a bullshitter?
I had no idea Boris and
an insider. Come on.
I had no idea they even cared about our show or even watched our show. So it's surprising that's kind of, it's nice to know that you're, in league with the big boys, in contention with the big boys where they kind of mess around.
You can't
I'm not making
a little YouTube show. No, we got to enjoy your health insurance, boys.
Well, that's true. I have a very lovely lady who works and I have health insurance through her. Yeah, there you go. But I mean, the other side is we'd have to be told what to report, what not to report, which can get hairy sometimes. All right, so we'll leave off that. But here's what I'll say, guys. You guys love this show. You love Jeff. You know what we do here. We took it a bit on the chin here to start off. I mean, we're only a minute later, so I don't know about how big scooped we got. But we are here live. We'd love it if you send in Streamlabs and Super Chats to support the show. Maybe even to make up for some of the loss in income there that we didn't get from blasting out the scoop first by 1 minute. Send in your love. Send in your Streamlabs, the Super Chats. You see the address above Jeff's head. It's pinned in the chat, and it's here in the description of the video as well as we go along. So
you're not first, you're last in this game, Johnny. That's what THR is thinking right now.
Yeah,
they're laughing. Oh, you lost by a minute. You lost.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. I take the hit. I take the hit. This is the game. This is the game. This is what did Pacino say? This is the life you've chosen.
It was like they rang the bell, and then like our girlfriend said something. We were like, "What, honey?" And it was like, boom.
Oh, all right. Well, let's move on there to some other stuff. What else is in this news? You know what? Before we get, I want a full block for the Emmys. So since we're so close to a break, let's not hit the Emmys just yet. We'll hit the Emmys after the break. Let's dive into the story of Glen Powell, man. This is an interesting story. You know, he's about to have Twisters, which comes out this week. Your review for the movie is in your newsletter for anybody who wants to subscribe over there at theinsnider.com. I'm going to see it tomorrow in IMAX. I skipped the screening last night because I had to do the Acolyte reaction. But like, there's a story that's popped up here that he may be looking at or considering coming back to do a remake of Backdraft. Now, this would be what? The fourth or fifth remake or fourth or fifth old movie that he's going to try to revitalize here. Your thoughts on the Glen Powell coming back or possibly coming back to be in a remake of Backdraft?
Glen Powell. We love this guy. I love Glen Powell, right? He's a new movie star, right?
Yes, he is.
He's too old.
Too old to play William Baldwin's character?
Yeah.
Wow. So do you think he's back for the Kurt Russell character? Would you think that's possible?
No. I mean, well, he's not that much older than the guy who I had in mind, I suppose.
Who did you have in mind for Backdraft?
I mean, he plays a little bit younger on screen, but I think someone like Austin Butler could pull it off.
Austin Butler is the William Baldwin to Glen Powell? Or do you think without Glen Powell, it would be Austin Butler?
I don't see this for Glen Powell, and I think that you're right that like he's doing too many of these.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
is he in talk for Officer and a Gentleman? Who's in? Oh no, that's Miles. That's Miles. So who? Yeah. What was the most recent thing Glenn was? I mean, because this is Twisters essentially.
Twisters, right? The Running Man.
Running Man. That's it. Yeah, it's too many. It's too many of them. I agree.
Right. You can't just remake the stuff from the past. So, I mean, obviously there will be other remakes and sequels and reboots that he ends up doing, that Austin Butler ends up doing. But yeah, I just feel like he's 35 now. Like by the time like in his schedule he does Backdraft, we're talking like 37. Like he's not the young whippersnapper anymore.
Right.
You know?
Right. Good point.
I mean, he feels like that because he does play like younger than. He seems like he's a little bit younger than 35, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, totally. He plays
like 5 years younger. Yeah, like 30
for sure.
But like, yeah, I don't see that for him. Do you?
No, yeah, it's a weird choice to be honest. I get it though, because white all-American guy as the lead of Backdraft, as firefighters. What city were they in? Was it Boston? With the city they were in? What city was Backdraft in? I forget what city it was in.
Chicago, no?
Chicago. Okay, so. I guess I could see it with him, right? So, and look, Backdraft is a fun movie. It's not, in my opinion, one of Ron Howard's best movies. There's some good scenes, and Kurt Russell's fantastic in the film. Jennifer Jason Leigh and William Baldwin have like no chemistry, but we're supposed to buy that relationship. But there's great scenes with the late great Donald Sutherland and Robert De Niro. He's essentially playing like the Hannibal Lecter of that situation. So there are some fun roles within it. And so I think there's a chance to improve upon the original with a remake. You just have to make sure you cast that thing correctly.
I disagree with you in your assessment. Backdraft. Backdraft is a fucking classic. It is the greatest movie about fire ever made.
What?
What do you like? What even argument are you about to put forth? The Towering Inferno?
No. First of all, that's a great movie. I will take no disrespect on that fucking film, but I will throw out the film I really enjoyed, the one with speaking of I think it's Miles and Josh Brolin.
Okay,
yeah,
that's a good movie about fire, but like Backdraft is the greatest movie about fire, and that is why I don't even think you should remake it, because it's almost perfect. I don't want to, like, when you think back at Twister and Twisters, the storms and the tornadoes in the original Twister, I felt more real, right, than the CGI huge ass storms and everything. I mean, everything's CGI, but like,
right.
I thought they felt more real than this sequel. And I think that the fire in Backdraft, you're not going to remake Backdraft and make it more realistic.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Did you ever see Ladder 49? Was that any good? The John Travolta.
I didn't see Ladder 49. No, it wasn't. I mean, guys, Backdraft is it's a classic. It's like a half star short of being perfect.
You're insane.
The mystery, like with Scott Glenn and stuff, like that who done it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
It's not like this great reveal that holds up over the years, but like everything else, like You Go, We Go.
Yeah.
Dude, the music is amazing. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what the news is as it comes forward. Let's move on to the Captain America trailer. Jeff, speaking of Marvel, Captain America trailer. Let's talk about it. Did you like this thing? It dropped over the weekend. Feelings, thoughts, emotions, Red Hulk feelings. What are your thoughts?
Look like shit. Fuck this movie. No. Listen, guys, I can put the scoop stuff aside and say I think that this movie looks good. I know it's been shot twice.
Yes,
they made it twice. But I'm listen, I'm totally in the tank for Mackie. I am upfront about that. Mackie's my boy. I love Mackie.
Yeah,
and I think that this looks fun. Harrison Ford as the president looks fun.
Yeah. I got something sitting right here that could maybe be a scoop, but I don't know if you'd be up for it. 2 Marvel things. I have 4 Marvel things I could drop here to mess around.
Don't worry about it, man. It is what it is, Marvel saw their opportunity to fuck us and they took it, Can you blame them?
Fair point.
I would.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I can fuck back, don't you think? Rocha's Rumors, a little Rocha's Rumors situation.
Let's take it this week. Let's take it and
take the L. I don't like to take the L. All right, fair point. I like the trailer. I thought it was good. Really enjoyed what we got. I like Mackie as well. I saw some people coming for the CGI in this trailer as if the film's already done. Like, I don't know what these infants get out of doing stuff like that. Like, we got the trailer. It's fun. Let's enjoy it. When the movie comes out, then you can take your screen grabs or have your issues with any of the CGI, but it's not done yet, the movie. It's not like that it's coming out next week, for fuck's sake. So people get a little like they want to find anything to nitpick so they can stroke their egos and, come off as knowing I know a lot about CGI and what should look like. It's just so infantile. And it's like, just enjoy what we got here if it's good, and let's move on from that. And then the CGI will take care of itself. So, but I loved Harrison being in this. Great transition for him to take over as Thunderbolt Ross. They said shave the mustache, all of that. And by the way, just a random thing. Harrison Ford. I watched a documentary on Joe Sakic, great NHL player, the other day. It's on Hulu. Who pops up?
Joe Sakic.
Yeah, who pops up at the end of the documentary? Harrison Ford. Why? Because the guy who produced the Air Force One was the CEO of the Colorado Avalanche at the time. The Rangers had made a massive play for Joe Sakic, offering him $21 million over 3 years with $15 million guaranteed. The Avalanche did not have the money to match at the time. It all depended on if the American president if Air Force One made money, then they would have money to be able to pay Sakic. So Harrison Ford, according to the documentary, called 2 different studio heads to have them move their movies away from the summer so Air Force One could come out untouched. And that's what happened. And that's how they were able
wild fucking story.
Insane.
Harrison Ford cleared the runway
yes.
for Air Force One to be successful so that it could do well. This producer could make money, keep Joe Sakic.
Yes.
I mean,
and now Joe Sakic has never left the organization. He was the GM when they won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago. So it's a fascinating. So Harrison Ford, a lot of tentacles, so to speak, in the Harrison Ford strength. So there you go. All right, so let's take a quick break, brother, and let's get into the Emmys on the other side of this. We'll be right back right after this. All right, big things to talk about here in the Emmy situation here, Jeff. This was an interesting year. There weren't a lot of shows that were coming back that you think, oh, in contention, whatever. But like Shogun got 25 nominations, which is the most nominations of any of the shows that have been through here. Only Murders in the Building got a number of nominations as well. We got nominations for Matt Berry for the first time here. Idris Elba was a shocking nomination for some people for Hijack. Emma Stone was shut out for that Curse show there. So there was a lot that happened here throughout. I mean, Curse got nothing, which I think some people were surprised by. Lessons in Chemistry, which I know nobody who watched that show, and that got 10 nominations overall. X-Men 97 got nominated. Bo DeMayo tweeted out the nomination and how excited he was. Will Bo DeMayo walk up and accept the award? I have questions there. Slow Horses got nominations, which I thought was great as well. Quiet on Set got nominations here. And Lily Gladstone, Callie Reese, two native actresses, they got nominated for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series. Carrie Coon was nominated here. John Hamm got nominated twice as well. Robert Downey Jr. got a nomination as well. So your thoughts when you look at the Emmys here, Jeff? You had put out what you thought was going to happen nominations-wise. So how did it line up to what the actual nominations were today?
I mean, I was in the middle of writing my Emmy piece when I had to break for this podcast. So I feel like I either got most of the categories right or went like 4 for 5 or 5 for 6, 4 for 6 in a couple of them. The Emmys are, fairly predictable. There were a couple of surprises. I was surprised by Emma Stone being snubbed, but on the other hand, that's because I'm like going off of what the pundits say, right? And her track record among awards voters, if I'm going off my eye, The Curse was fucking unwatchable. I didn't get through 2 episodes of it, I don't think. So
I think you weren't alone.
I'm not surprised that voters rejected that series. I rejected it too. So it's like sometimes your personal biases play into things. Like I saw Girls State, and because I loved Boys State, I didn't think Girls State was nearly as good. And so I said, I don't think this is going to get nominated, but it did get nominated. And that's my own personal bias coming into it. So it's tough as a prognosticator to balance that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Bear got 23 nominations. Did that surprise you?
As opposed to 18. I mean, that's the thing. It's like with these, it's like it got 30 billion nominations, like I don't know what the record is, what is considered good. There's 18 zillion categories nowadays. True. And voters only watch like 6 shows, right? So half of these categories, like today, they're all filled by 3 or 4 shows, right? At like 7, 8 nominees, and literally they're all from 3 or 4 shows because that's all the voters watch. Because they're just elitist, coastal. They have limited taste, and they just watch what the trades tell them to watch.
Yeah. Also, I mean, look at the outstanding comedies. Go ahead, say that. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, say that. Yeah.
There's no individuality. It's almost why I liked Idris Elba's nomination today.
For Hijack?
Because, like, that's a show that the trades will tell you, this isn't an award show. This is just kind of like a pulpy, like 24. Like 24 wasn't like an Emmy darling, right?
Yeah.
But it got a nomination because, you know what? It was really fucking good, Hijack, and people liked it.
Yeah.
So, it's almost a repudiation of this, what is prestige TV. But for the most part, it's all those prestige shows. It's the Gilded Age. Who's fucking watching the Gilded Age?
I don't know anybody's watching the Gilded Age. I love Carrie Coon, and I worship the ground she walks on. And even I don't watch the Gilded Age because that's a costume drama a little too far, even for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't even watch Bridgerton. So, you know, there's
I was watching Palm Royale. I watched 5 minutes of that show. I know my old boss, not Patrick, but my man Rock produced it. I want to be supportive, but it's like I lasted 5 minutes watching that show, Palm Royale. Just watching the show.
We got the screeners early on. The Lady Outlaw loves Kristen Wiig. We watched one episode. We're like, this is terrible. We did not like it, but apparently critics liked it, so it's in contention, man. But no, just did not like that show at all. I liked the Patricia Arquette show much better than I liked Palm Royale, High Desert. That got smoked. So, all right. Well, comedy series here. Abbott Elementary, The Bear. At what point are we done with The Bear being a comedy? Like, right? I mean, I know there's comedic moments, but
it's so confusing. Like people just watched The Bear season 3, but they're voting for The Bear season 2.
Yeah. What was comedic about Forks? What was comedic about the dinner one, like fish or whatever fish is? What was comedic about both of these, man?
How is that competing in the same category? Curb Your Enthusiasm and Abbott Elementary, which are
right.
I mean, it's the whole fucking system is wild. That's why I've never really taken the Emmy seriously. I don't, want to say that for fear of losing out on potential Emmy ads, but it's like it's true. Like, who could possibly take this fucking show seriously? It's like the Grammys. There's just like, television. People have weird tastes, but like, I don't think that there's a right and a wrong when it comes to television, but there is movies.
Yeah. All right. So what about drama series? The Crown. I was kind of surprised to see that because The Crown didn't get great reviews this final season. Great to see Fallout, The Gilded Age, Morning Show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That was a bit of a surprise for me. Shogun, Slow Horses, and Three Body Problem.
I mean, Shogun has this in the bank, right?
I feel like that's a win, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, this is nice to see Slow Horses getting nominated. But yeah, I mean, Shogun is pretty much the odds.
No suspense, like to the show. Dude, you're gonna have a good headline now for this show. Now, the headline should be like, Russo brothers scoop stolen. Like that. That's something that could get you some pickup online.
Yeah, true. But my own friend is texting me now, going, "You blew this one, man."
It's okay. I turned my phone off because I was getting messages from people.
Yeah. Like telling me that I'm an idiot. Is that what they were telling me?
All kinds of different people. I turned the phone off, but it'll be interesting to turn it back on.
Oh man. Anyway, my friend is giving me shit about it. All right, I'm just responding back. All right, now what about limited anthology series? Baby Reindeer, Fargo, Lessons in Chemistry, Ripley, True Detective, Night Country. This is a good stacked list, but Jeff, I feel like I know your answer to this, but why do we have to limit it to 5? You've got 8 in other categories. Can't we be uniform across the board and say if there are?
Well, that's another thing that totally pissed me off in going through the predictions. I'm like, predicting 5 nominees. Well, there's 6 nominees. Well, how do Clayton and Scott not know how many nominees there are? That's who I'm going off of. I'm going off the trades. How do you guys not know how many fucking nominees there are per category? How come no one's figured this out? I mean, it fluctuates every year, though, given how many submissions there are, right? And how many shows have been released. So, listen, at the end of the day, Scott and Clayton, these are movie guys. I don't expect them to keep close track of all this TV stuff. But somebody should know how many nominees they're going to be in a given category on nomination day, so it's not a surprise. Why aren't there 5, John? Because there aren't nearly as many limited series as there are regular series, and so it's a percentage. You're nominating a percentage of the shows.
That's a good point. Who do you think? Do you think Baby Reindeer takes this one, or do you think controversy is going to bite that one in the ass and people are going to go towards
Baby Reindeer wins? I think Little Baby Reindeer wins.
You don't think the controversy will cause a blowback?
Controversy sells, baby. I mean, who hasn't watched that series? It made some people uncomfortable, and they may not have enjoyed it. Fargo had a great season, but Fargo's had other great seasons.
Yeah.
True Detectives had another good season. So I just felt like it felt so fresh and exciting and dangerous and original Baby Reindeer. I think it's got in the bag.
I wonder if Ripley could pull an upset here, but we'll see.
It could. I mean, that's not a question, John. A lot of people like that, but that's a show I also have not finished.
Okay. Okay.
I do want to. If time was infinite, I absolutely would. But like, how about Masters of the Air getting snubbed? How about like Spielberg, Hanks, all those stars, 200 million at least. Fukunaga, like no nomination, and it didn't even have Shogun this year to compete with. Like Shogun gave up the slot.
Right.
When you're losing to Brie Larson in that chemistry show, oof.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know that show. I mean, I watched an episode of that show and I was like, all right, this is standard. Women are great fare. And I didn't see it that it was in that much different, and so I was surprised that it got to this point. But me, with these award shows, look, I've never been involved in, how can I say this? I've never been involved in the people who select the nominate. I've sent in my nominations, but I've never been the person who tabulates, I guess, is what I would say. And I always get a little suspicious with certain things. So
you think people are tabulating things wrong?
Well, who's checking them? They never reveal their numbers. They never reveal.
No, they never will. I mean, that's just a nonsense.
That's the thing. You just have to take it that they're being honest, but we don't really fucking know.
Tingarawa says HBO is slipping. Again, I don't know if HBO is slipping so much as like it was just a bad cycle for them. Right. Like Succession was gone, Barry was gone, a whole bunch of like shows that they typically would rely on for nominations were not eligible this year. And so I think with Zaslav coming in and priorities have changed, budgets have changed. It does seem like there's less. Like they're like it seems like they go months now at a time where it's like, well, what is the big Sunday night show that HBO has? Oh, they're not going to have one for 6 weeks. Right. Like I feel like there's just less to choose from, and that's why they have less nominations than FX.
Fair point. All right, let's see. What's that? It's on television movie. Jeff, I think I might need to make television movies because if Unfrosted can get nominated, I think I should get this kind of situation.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
what is this?
Like to people who like go around calling themselves Emmy winners, it's like, come on, they give out like a zillion Emmys a year.
Outstanding writing at Abbott Elementary, the Bear Girls 5 Eva, which is one of my Lady Outlaw's favorite shows. I love that Hacks got a lot of nominations for their recent season, and What We Do in the Shadows I thought was great as well, getting nominated. 2 episodes of Shogun though being nominated in the drama series, so that kind of forces out one potential nominee from another show. That's kind of shocking. I don't know how many times that's happened.
How many times? Sorry, exactly what happened?
Yeah, for writing in a drama series, there are 2 separate Shogun episods nominated.
Yeah, but that's happened before. Yeah, they're definitely.
I'm just saying it's kind of rare, so it speaks volumes to the strength of the writing.
And it's just the strength of the show, I think, among voters. Yes.
Yeah. Anything? What about surprises? We've talked about a couple of the snubs, but like, are there any other surprises? Were you happy to see Reservation Dogs get some love? I mean, Curb Your Enthusiasm getting some love. Any surprises here for you overall?
I haven't had a chance to review the whole list. I'm only like halfway through. But no, I think it was nice to see those FX shows, in their last seasons or whatever, get recognized. What We Do in the Shadows and Reservation Dogs. I don't really watch them. Yeah. I started out watching Reservation Dogs and really liked it, but I tailed off. Yeah. But it was nice to see Tefero Wunatai get a nomination. I mean, I think he's a really up and coming young, star. Yeah.
I was really sad for expats. I don't know if they got anything. It looked like they didn't get anything. Like Nicole Kidman didn't get nominated. My personal friend Sorry You're Blue did not get nominated. The show I don't think got nominated. So I was surprised because there was a lot of positive reaction to it with critics and what have you, but it didn't transfer into anything getting any nominations that I can see. So I was surprised by that. What about I was really happy to see Maya Rudolph get nominated for Loot. I love Loot. If you guys aren't watching Loot, that is a fun show, and she is damn good on that show. Ron Funches is damn good on the show. The whole cast is really a lot of fun. If you're not, and those are half-hour episodes, you can breeze through that in a weekend. Both seasons are excellent. So I'm happy to see her get nominated.
I love when Rocha's passionate about something. If you guys aren't watching Loot, you're missing out on the best comedy in ages. It's Maya Rudolph.
It's great. She's great. I think that show is fantastic. So I'm just wondering.
Darn tootin'.
I feel like people overlook Apple TV, and a lot they're doing a lot of quality content. It's so much like nobody's talking about Franklin. Michael Douglas didn't even get nominated, and nobody is talking about Franklin. And that was a damn good show. It's mind blowing to me.
All right, what else we got?
Yeah, that was there for the Emmys. And nothing else you got to say? All right, fine. We'll move on from the Emmys.
Yeah, Emmys.
Keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats, everybody. We will definitely get to them on the other side of the break here. Let's talk about, what do we got here? Let's talk about some trailers, man. Let's talk about a Different Man trailer. What are your thoughts on this trailer that came down here with Sebastian Stan? This is a fascinating trailer, and I had no idea this movie was even being made. So I was blown away by what we saw here in this trailer. What are your thoughts on this one here, Jeff?
I thought it looked fascinating. I think it looks really interesting. Sebastian Stan's supposed to be excellent, and then it stars this British actor Adam Pearson, who has neurofibromatosis. And I like that. Listen, we've seen a lot of movies about people with facial deformities, right?
Yes.
Mask and Wonder, Jacob Tremblay, Eric Stoltz is in Mask. There's another famous one that I'm blanking on at the moment, but nice to see that
the Elephant Man.
The Elephant Man, exactly.
John Hurst. Yeah.
So it's nice to see them cast an actor who actually has this condition rather than just a movie star who then you put a bunch of expensive layers of prosthetics on.
I thought, Aaron Schimberg wrote and directed this one, and it's for A24, and I think this is a fascinating story. The idea of like the internal stuff versus the external stuff, right? And the idea that he's an actor who was going to get this role, but instead decided to fix his face. But by fixing his face and put himself out of contention for the role, someone else is going to take the role now, and now it becomes a thing of like, how do you explore this, right? Yeah, exactly. How do you deal with this?
Embrace the things that make us different, right? I mean, it's called a different man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And so it's about Sebastian Stan wanting to be a different man, or the fact that Adam Pearson is a different man.
Is a different man. Yeah, good point. So apparently he was in that thing for 3 hours. He would have to do the makeup for 3 hours to be on set to shoot his scenes. That's dedication, man. That's a lot of
Sebastian Stan, you're saying?
Yeah, Sebastian Stan. Yeah. Because I know Adam Pearson, that's his actual condition. I've seen him on podcasts and what have you. Let's see here. Let's move on to another trailer. Let's move on to the one that solidifies Jeff Sneider as a pervert. The ANORA trailer dropped here. Brother, this is definitely an interesting fucking trailer. So please talk to me about this one, man. What were your feelings on this ANORA trailer, and should people go see this movie, for God's sake?
Dude, you look at the fucking world. Look, you got fucking HBO making shows like Succession and Big Little Lies, and everything's just like this exploration of fucking rich people and fancy people, and this is the life you could be living. And there's a little bit of that, obviously, in ANORA, right?
Yeah,
because it's about her meeting up with a Russian oligarch, but like Sean Baker makes movies about like these segments of society who people like don't, they look away from.
They overlook. Yeah.
Exactly. They overlook.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating. I've liked in all of his movies, Tangerine, Florida Project, Red Rocket, and this feels very much cut from the same cloth, but mixed with a bit of that wish fulfillment and that fantasy life, with also an element of danger. So
yeah. It's here's the premise. If you guys haven't watched this trailer yet, highly recommend the trailer. Mikey Madison plays ANORA, who is a sex worker from Brooklyn who gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and marries, as Jeff mentioned, the son of an oligarch. But once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as the parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled. And I didn't recognize anybody of the actors in this film. Barely recognized Mikey Madison from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I never watched Better Things. But this is Sean Baker, who did Tangerine, The Florida Project, Red Rocket, which is one I still on my list I need to watch. And this looks awesome, dude. This looks like a Saturday afternoon, get a couple of beers and you go into the theater and watch this fucking thing and just go and just hang on to your seat of what you're going to be.
You know what it looks like that we rarely see, or the people will say is this, but
yeah,
I don't think it is. It is called cinema. It is cinema. And the movies that we are told are cinema are often boring as fuck, right? People's the zone of interest. That's cinema.
That is cinema.
Cinema. No, this looks like cinema to me, and this is the opposite of the zone of interest.
Fair enough. One last trailer, I think. Oh, we should talk about the KNEECAP trailer, man. I sent it to you. This based on a true story film about these three rappers from Ireland who rap in Irish, the old school Irish Gaelic, I think is the language they use there. And this is based on a true story. These are real rappers, and it covers how they came to be, with Michael Fassbender playing a role in this one as well, and dealing with the Northern Irish and whatever. And this was a damn good trailer, Jeff. This one was right up my alley. What did you think of this one?
Right up your alley. Because you're a fucking hooligan. You're a soccer hooligan.
Inside, yes, always.
No, this movie looks like it's going to make $4. It looked completely incomprehensible. I mean, it's like it seems to play for like the TikTok crowd, but
I think it's a train spotting movie for the new generation. That's
an art house. Yeah, it's like an art house movie. No, I don't think it looked very good. When I saw Fassbender, I was like, "What the fuck? Is this like? Are these outtakes from Frank or something? Like, what is going on?"
Well, the New York Times did a write-up on this group, I think a year or two ago. I did a read it after I watched the trailer. So this is so they're up and coming. Like they're clearly spreading as fame comes along. And of course, this one's probably not going to do that well, but hopefully it'll find a little pocket of those people who love to go see these small independent films and have a lot of fun with them. So. All right. Let's see. What about the Terminator Zero trailer? That a minute and a half we got of a teaser.
Dude, I thought it looked cool, man. Yeah. Mattson Tomlin's behind that, the guy who did the Batman. I thought, like, for an anime show, like, I don't watch a lot of that stuff, but I'd be down to check that out.
I think it's the same company who did Godzilla -1 as well. So that makes me even more excited to check it out and see what it's all about. And Rosario's doing the main voice. So be curious to see what it is. But there wasn't much in the trailer other than she's the one trying to stop this all from happening. That's basically the trailer. But it looked good. All right. Netflix is supposedly in consideration, maybe, that for taking over the Horizon series of movies and working with Kevin Costner. There's a new report. This is according to World of Real, who broke the report. They're alleging that Netflix would partially help in funding the in-production third part of Horizon and in development fourth part of Horizon. The report also adds that most of the budget would still be financed by outside parties, and the plan would be to release each chapter several months apart on Netflix. This would surprise me because Kevin said he wanted this stuff up on the big screen. But then again, if people aren't going to come, I guess you got to take it where you can take it. So do you anticipate there'll be a deal announced soon, and then all the rest of the three parts will end up on Netflix 2, 3, and 4? What are your thoughts on this?
I think it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if only because if what Jordan says is correct, like that they plan to turn it into a big ass mini series at some point.
Yeah. If
they try to like serialize it, then I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I still don't understand making 4 of these. That's what doesn't make sense to me. If 2 are done, right? And you're like, okay, well, this story's not done. Well, you know what? You look at the box office for the first one, you say, it's time to wrap it up, right?
Yeah, right.
You make one more movie. And even if you're planning 2 2-hour movies with 3 and 4, you do 1 3-hour movie then to close it or something. But like, I don't think you do two more movies. That's insanity and real just like stubbornness. But as far as like Netflix coming in, that passes the smell tests. Like, because I think that streamer is desperate to have the kind of audience that they're the biggest streamer in the world, so they're not desperate for any audience, but I think they would love to have their own Yellowstone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good point.
And bring in that audience that he commands and that show commands. So it makes sense.
But do you think now, because they haven't shot 3 and 4, now that Netflix is involved, do you think they bring their people down to be like, okay, we got to take a look at what you're going to do, how long the script is, you're going to have to work with our people to make the movie. Do you think it becomes that kind of a situation, or do you think they leave Kevin alone?
This podcast brought to you by Canada Dry. I think if they would just like, it's a good question if they're going to finance a third film.
It's your money. I mean, they're going to partially finance it.
Leave them alone and trust them like they've trusted so many others in the past. Now it hasn't always worked out for them, but yeah, I think why get involved at this point?
I'm saying because the creators of Avatar left their live action series because of creative differences. So that's what I wonder about, is if they acquire this thing and then there's maybe some internal squabbling between the two parties because Kevin wants to do it his way, but Netflix says, we're only going to let you do it this way if you're going to use our money. I just wonder if that will cause some friction, because Kevin sure as fuck doesn't care about causing friction with anybody. So just throwing it out there, man.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more here. All right, your thoughts on the Longlegs box office? $22 million. I know you're not too high on the movie. Your column in the Insider breaking down some of the writing issues on the recent horror films that have come out, but you can't argue $22 million on a possibly $5 to $10 million budget. Pretty incredible, Jeff.
It is. It's certainly an accomplishment. But again, it's about great marketing.
Yeah.
Do I think this is a great movie? No. Do I think that word of mouth has been good? No. From what I've heard from people who went out to see it.
Okay.
I think people have been kind of bewildered. So I just...
You're saying they're duped? You're saying they feel duped by it?
But just like, what was that? Like, that's not the movie that we thought that we were going to see.
Okay.
I thought I was going to see. Did you see it?
No, I you said it wasn't good. I trust your words on horror. So if you say something's not good, I usually don't go see it.
It wasn't really compared to the expectations that had been set by critics who are, again, just like in another universe these days. I watched this movie Oddity that comes out on Friday on Shudder. It's 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. That means everybody liked it.
Right.
Can you imagine taking 33 people, John, putting them in a room and getting them to agree on anything?
Yeah, I know.
From what's the best peanut butter to what's the best cereal? Like, you can't get 33 people to agree on anything. So how come every other week 33 horror critics get together to see the same movie and everyone likes it? Like, this is like a societal phenomenon to me.
This sounds like a great investigative reporter article, 4-part series from Jeff Sneider exploring what's going on here.
Something is in the water. I mean, who are they allowing to put a score on this fucking website?
Who are these people?
And how much is Neon like influencing them or outright paying these people? I don't understand it.
Ow. Well, easy now. Easy. Those are irresponsible allegations. We don't know if that's what's going on.
Something is rotten in Denmark, my friend. I'm watching these movies with eyeballs that work.
Okay.
So everyone has forgotten how to write scripts, and that goes for Twisters too.
Wow.
Twisters I liked. I mean, I gave that a B and Longlegs a B minus. Like, I didn't think Longlegs was like a bad movie.
Right.
But like, people don't know how to write scripts anymore.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a lost art. It's direct. Oz Perkins directed the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
Can't write for lick. I mean, these are two completely different skill sets, and only a handful of people in the world, whether that's Kevin Smith. That's a very loose thing with the director, but like Tarantino, right? There's only so many brilliant writer directors.
Sure.
They're two completely different things. You know who doesn't write their own scripts?
Who?
Fincher.
Right.
Okay, and if Andrew Kevin Walker or James Vanderbilt, who did Zodiac, used to be behind me.
Yeah.
But if one of those guys had written Longlegs, that movie would have fucked.
Fair enough. Okay. Is there a recent one that you've liked that you got a chance to watch? A recent horror that you got a chance to see that you liked? Anything new?
No.
Okay.
No, I actually like the Night Watch Legacy sequel.
Oh, okay.
Watch with Ewan McGregor and Nick Nolte and Brolin.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah.
The mid-90s artifact.
Yeah.
And it was based on like a Danish movie with Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Yeah.
And they made a legacy sequel to that Nikolai Coster-Waldau one that was made for Shudder. Yeah. And it starred the director's daughter in like a case of like fucking nepotism to the extreme. But she was really good. And I thought the movie was good enough.
Yeah. We just finished watching a Netflix series from January called American Nightmare. That's a documentary series. If you guys haven't seen that one, highly recommend that one. Agreed. That's a horror film and a half, even though it's a real life documentary. There are some horrific aspects to it. Let's not before we leave Neon, let's talk about Chris Stuckmann's film, Shelby Oaks, getting acquired by Neon. Chris Stuckmann, of course, our fellow YouTuber and critic here. He wrote the film and directed the film. It was announced yesterday that Neon has acquired worldwide rights to Shelby Oaks. It's described as a documentary found footage crossover horror film, and it will have its world premiere at Fantasia Festival on Saturday. This Saturday, dude. So fascinating. What are your thoughts on this? And are you happy that Stuckmann got his film picked up by Neon?
I think it's great. You know, yeah. I think that they're giving him a shot. He has an audience, right? He's YouTube's
clearly
critic, right?
Yeah. This
movie was kickstarted, so like all those people who contributed, you know, are going to check it out. You know, I don't expect like to break the box office or anything, but I think it'll do well in accordance with its budget, and I think it's just a great story, right? It's critic becomes director. Like you can sell that as a story to media outlets.
Yeah. $1.4 million. So, you know, he has an audience. He was able to raise that much for on Kickstarter to shoot that film. So shout out to Stuckmann. Best of luck to you, brother. Hope it's a hit. Hope it's a hit for you, man. And you keep writing more of these kinds of things.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Good luck, Chris.
Good luck. All right, let's move on. One last story before we hit a break and answer some Streamlabs super chats. Jeff, the Disney hack. Talk to me. Disney is investigating a hack of the entertainment company's internal Slack channels. The hacker group Nullbulge claims to have obtained and leaked more than 1 terabyte of data from Disney's internal Slack channels. The reason they did this is to focus on, quote, protecting artists' rights and ensuring fair compensation for their work. They shared screenshots of documents the group had downloaded, posted to Twitter about traffic and revenue data for Disneyland Paris, and what seems to be a new streaming feature that would recommend Disney content based on what viewers had previously watched. And they promised to dump the entire haul online. And apparently they used a Disney employee to get access, whether they hacked the Disney employee or the Disney employee was involved in this. That's how they got access to this stuff. So, man, what's your reaction to this? What's your feeling on this? And how bad is this going to get? Because I remember that Sony hack with Amy Pascal. That was not pretty.
Yeah, I think obviously this could get very ugly. I think, you know, like the kind of Slack conversations maybe you and I had, and you realize that, anything you put on Slack, the boss could look at.
Sure.
Right. Sure. So it's like, hopefully people who work at Disney know by now that you can't really have open conversations on Slack, and you have to be careful what you say and type, because there could be hackers who get the whole file and everything. I won't be like reporting on anything that comes from the hacks. I think it's one thing like for someone to leak something, and it's another for someone to steal something.
Right.
And so, I just don't want to play that game with hackers or feel like, okay, well, I can, you know, if we do steal something, we can always go to Jeff Sneider with it and he'll disseminate it. No, I'm not going to be an accomplice to essentially domestic terrorism or, online terrorism. But, I just hope that people don't lose like friendships and careers over some of what potentially could come out, because that's stuff you can't really regulate.
Yeah, true. I know I know there are interactions I'd had at Collider, and I screen grabbed some Slack exchanges for protection in the future in case anything happens. I've still got them in a file on my computer, and I will never delete them. So, because you're right, people sometimes write stuff on Slack thinking it's no big deal, but you never know with some people and what's going to be exchanged and what's going to be said. So Slack is super important for that kind of stuff, and we'll see how much of that stuff comes out. But there are mirror sites that you can go to and see this stuff. It's just you're taking your own internet security into your own hands by doing that. So, but I'll be curious to see what the situation is down the road. All right, so let's take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll answer these Streamlabs and super chats, and then we'll get on out of here. Thank you all so much. We'll be right back right after this. All right, Jeff, before we dive in, though, where can people subscribe to your newsletter, brother? Take it away.
TheInsneider.com, www.THEINSNEIDER, TheInsneider.com for all your newsletter needs. Thank you.
There you go. Sign in there, people. Sign in there and subscribe. All right, Ewok says, Eruption has landed at Sony with Keanu Reeves rumored to star. Can you confirm if he's in talks? It would make sense given he's part Hawaiian. Jeff.
I cannot confirm that he is in talks. I did see that Sony won this bidding war, supposed bidding war anyways.
Right.
So Puck's Matt Bellany did a follow-up to Deadline's article where it basically made fun of Shane Salerno, who's the producer and who, managed this whole book deal and everything.
Right.
And said that this that the Deadline piece is just like Fleming carrying water for him and it's pure puffery and the deal wasn't really 7 figures and Keanu Reeves has, not even read a script. There is no script. So I think it does make sense given that it is set in Hawaii and, Keanu does have Hawaiian heritage.
True.
That he would be the first person they go out to. And this does actually feel like a movie that would be good for his career and a movie that he might actually do.
Yeah.
Maybe he has expressed interest. Maybe he's, got an early copy of the book. I don't know, but I don't think he's attached officially in any way.
Well, do you think, you pushed back on it a little bit by saying like, well, he's not the first producer to overstate these things, but
right.
say it again. Sorry.
Shane wouldn't, if this is, puffery as he called it. Okay, so Shane wouldn't be the first person to say, oh, this guy's going to do it when, this guy hasn't signed on yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like the fucking name of the game in this town. So I actually called out Bellany. I was like, okay, if the deal is for $150,000, right, the option on this book, right, for Sony, and then if the movie gets made, then James Patterson and Michael Crichton get 7 figures.
Right.
That's a 7-figure deal.
That's true. That's
right?
100% true.
Where I come from, that's a 7-figure deal. You make 7 figures on it, and this does feel like a movie that they are going to make. When Bellany's sort of taking shots at Salerno, it just felt a little personal.
Yeah, fair point. All right, Sharon Paula, thank you, Sharon, for the super sticker. Appreciate it madly. Carlton Rudder in here. Thank you, Carlton. London Calling just got out of Twisters, a fun action summer movie that doesn't have the impact of the 96 original, but fun all the same. Jeff, would you concur?
Yeah, I did a whole review last night. So if you guys want to read it, subscribe to the newsletter. It's in the archives there. But it was missing something.
Was it Daisy Edgar Jones and the chemistry with Glen Powell?
No, I actually thought she was good. Her accent is all over the place in this movie. I'm telling you, she's British, so she sometimes it lilts into the British accent. She does like a basic American accent that all the Brits do.
Yeah.
And then every now and then she'll remember, oh yeah, I'm playing someone from Oklahoma and heavy Oklahoma drawl. It's wild. But I actually thought she was good and Glenn is very good.
Okay. Ali Aloha says, I think most directors would be intrigued, yet an Avengers film is a big deal, so kind of understand why other directors were eek. LOL. Yeah, I agree, Aaliyah. That's what Jeff and I had an exchange about it before we did the show, and I felt bad too. Is like, this is a huge undertaking. And nowadays, fandoms are so unforgiving. You can damage your brand coming onto a big franchise now, and if you don't get it right, they tear you to pieces. And that could affect your quote. That can affect your next project. That could affect the people who want to come and watch your movies in the future. So it's a dangerous undertaking to step in and do an Avengers film. So I'm not surprised they circle back to the Russos. Jeff, your thoughts?
Sorry. I think that what you said that fandoms are unforgiving, right?
Yeah, very unforgiving nowadays.
Executives are unforgiving these days.
Fair point.
Okay, it's like if you like you actually you're gonna have 65 to 75 characters to juggle here, which means 65 to 75 different actors and personalities who have been making MCU movies since before you were in film school, young man. You know that kind of thing. So it's like you can't just get anybody to do that. And I do think that if you do hire, whether it's Lord and Miller, who came into the Lucasfilm universe and got bounced, like it can be a while until your next project gets up and running. If you do get fired or if something happens, because all these other actors have wield so much power.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that they're going back to the Russos, not just because the Russos know what they're doing and have done it before, but because the people who have made MCU movies respect the Russos.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. Cody Hunt says, do you think they also bring back Marcus and McFeely to write the Avengers films? I'd love it if they return. They handled the story arc very well. Cody, I think we addressed that earlier, but
that's why I ultimately answered that beforehand, Cody. I saw your question come in, and I was like, if somebody's paying to ask us, then I might as well fucking say it. Yeah, I do think that either they're back or just one of them is back to write of at least Avengers 6. I don't know where they are in Avengers 5 if they have a draft that they're happy with. I thought that they were going with another writer, but maybe I don't know. But I'm just saying this. The tip that came in was specifically Avengers 6, and that it was one of them.
Why do you think Waldron? Do you think he just was like, this where you guys are going, I can't go? What do you think the situation was there?
I mean, if I had to just guess off the top of my head, because again, these are two different skills.
Yeah.
He's a TV writer.
Good points. Good points.
I don't understand. I don't understand this. There are people who are really good at writing TV.
Yeah.
You write TV with the rhythms of television and character. You have 12 hours to explore something. If you have to do something in 2.5 hours, that's a different assignment. Okay, hire screenwriters who have made movies before, that kind of stuff.
This is true across the board.
Waldron, I'm sure, has some feature credits, but you get what I'm saying. He feels like a TV writer.
Yeah, this is true across the board. Perry and I used to go round and round about it because I would say not every TV actor can be a film actor, and not every film actor can be a TV actor. It's all about knowing where you fit in the medium, in which medium, and so it's true. Same thing with writers, same thing with directors. There are a lot of great TV directors. Alan Taylor is a damn good TV director, but his feature films, not so much.
And people can straddle. John Hamm, great TV star. John Hamm, movie star, not so much.
Not so much. Right.
Doesn't mean he's not good in the town or can't make a good movie every now and then, but for the most part, John Hamm on the big screen, no.
Yeah. You do know we're a national agency, right? I love that line. Steve McTee says, $10 for my broke ass for the Avengers scoops. Love the show, guys. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Kind. Carl_KFBF says, possible Ghost Rider and or Midnight Suns movie. You can say no comment if you feel like
it. Oh, that's for me. Sorry. Possible Ghost Rider and or Midnight Suns movie. I mean, it seems like the rumor. I really haven't heard much one way or the other about it, other than it seems like it's in the cards. It's not like they're. I mean, if you have Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight and some of these other characters, but you don't want to make another. Do you really want to do another season of that show? You don't want to lose the actor and the character. I don't know. It seems like throw them together, make a fucking souffle, call it Midnight Suns.
Maybe that's how you get out of making Blade. You just put him together with Moon Knight and
Moon Knight got his own show, right? You can't Blade has to have his own thing. And then you build to Midnight Suns.
Yeah, but Blade didn't. But Moon Knight didn't have 3 movies with Wesley Snipes. People know the basic genesis of Blade, so you could go in there cold if you wanted to. Stellar Justin Lopez says, "You go, we go." Kurt Russell backdraft, absolutely. Bean says, "What characters do you think the Russos will focus on?" I know it's an ensemble, but some characters have to have larger roles than others. Like who's getting top billing? P.S. Love the show. Y'all is goated. Thank you, Bean. Jeff, it's a good question. Who is the lead of Avengers 5 and 6?
I have no idea.
Is it Tom Holland? Is it Anthony Mackie? Is it Cumberbatch?
It to be Tom Holland.
I mean, I feel like
it's allowed to be.
Well, No, I can't say anything, can I? You won't let me say anything. All right, fine. I'm going to sit on that thing then. I'll sit on it.
I don't know what you're getting at now, but I feel like if it's Tom Holland, then it's a Spider-Man movie, right? And those are Sony movies, so I don't know that I see Tom Holland as the lead in this franchise. Doesn't mean he can't have like a big role.
Yeah, right.
God, who is it? I mean, is it Doctor Strange? Like,
yeah, Cumberbatch seems the logical choice because he is now one of the veterans after all the other ones have left. And considering he's the one that kind of shepherded things through for Endgame,
movies are still successful too.
Yeah,
I may not have liked the second movie that Raimi did, but like it was successful.
It was $900-something million,
and it could be. I mean, do you think it could be Mr. Fantastic?
No, not yet. It's too early. I think it's either Spider-Man or Cumberbatch. I don't think it's Mackie. I love Mackie. I love the trailer.
No, you can't.
I don't think he's the leader of.
Brie Larson, maybe.
If she stays, yeah, maybe. Joseph Ashton says, "What if Donald Glover and Jeremy Allen White remake Stir Crazy? Could they be the next comedy duo?" Oh, listen, tell you right now, I would greenlight that in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Jeremy Allen looks like the son of Gene Wilder. Donald Glover playing a Richard Pryor role. I would 100% greenlight this. Jeff,
that seems like a great pairing on paper. I saw Stir Crazy once when I was young. It's been a while, so I don't know if like that's the vehicle for them, but I like that pairing on paper.
That's a classic Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movie. I grew up watching that movie religiously, but it's better than Silver Streak. But I will say this: if you turn that into a series, that could be really interesting, like a 6 to 8 episode series where it's Jeremy Allen White and Donald Glover in a prison, who've been framed for a armed robbery that caused the death of a couple of people, and they're trying to get out, and you add in the rodeo aspect of it all, and you add in the lawyers who are trying to get him out, and you add in corrupt wardens. It could be a very interesting dramedy type approach to that, telling that story that could be fun. And if I see that announced by Hulu next week, I want my money. Mike Joyce says, Jeff, how many cows fly in Twisters? Jeff, how many cows?
I don't think any cows are in Twisters.
Really?
We can be the bearer of bad news.
All right. Mike Joyce also says, any scoops on Leslie Headland's future projects? I think she's got to get through Accolade right now.
No, I don't know what she's up to. I feel like she signed some sort of development deal recently, but
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Steve McTee says, any hint about Doom? You brought it up.
No hints on Doom yet.
All
no
right.
leads.
All right.
I'll leave that be. I took out my anger on Marvel. That's it.
All right. We're moving on to some Streamlabs here. Wiley says, okay, what's up, Wiley? Good to see you. He says, okay, I know you guys don't follow music supervision, but The Bear not being nominated for it again is insane. Fallout and Mr. and Mrs. Smith are good choices, though, not the others. Mr. and Mrs. Smith will take it, I think, and should take it. Yeah, Jeff, there's a lot of good music in The Bear. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't get nominated for their music choices for the Emmys. So,
I haven't seen the nominees, and I don't watch those shows. So,
fair point. I thought you saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You didn't watch it.
No, yes, I'm sorry. I did see Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I forget if any music stood out in it.
Well, I think that answers the question. Right? Fallout had a lot of music. Dallas says, hey, guys, hope you all are doing well. Are there any DC hot rumors you can share with me? Thanks, and have a good one. Because there is a rumor going around that Matt Reeves is set to reveal something big at San Diego Comic-Con. Have you heard anything about what this might be, Jeff?
No, but I imagine it would be some casting or a title or, maybe some plot details or something.
For the Batman, too.
Yeah, they've done a good job of keeping a lid on the Batman, but I think it's, the lid can only stay on before the popcorn bubbles up and.
All right, Orange Chicken Rocha. Thank you, Orange Chicken. Thank you, Orange. He says, bros, my usual speech is, brothers, when y'all gonna get baked, order some dank burgers and fries and sleep over. But John and Jeff, I love you too, man. I got sad, man, seeing Rocha feel bad. Y'all are better news than THR. Don't let the trolls get to you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Orange Chicken. Yeah, it's on me. I don't like to fuck up. I'm my father instilled that in me from the beginning of my life. So when I make a mistake, I'm pretty hard on myself.
I'm really not even that upset. If any, it's a more interesting story. Like literally, like oh yeah, today I broke the Avengers news, whatever. No, today I had the Avengers news stolen from under my nose, and because I think Deadline credited us.
Good.
I'm
gonna post our show underneath the THR post on Twitter.
It should be whenever I put up that fucking thumbnail. That's the timestamp.
That's right. They should timestamp. You're right.
I do think that this isn't. It's for our viewers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool to break the news and everything, but this is like a more valuable lesson that people can actually learn from.
Mm-hmm.
In how there's an art to teasing, and we crossed the line in the tease today.
No, it's on me. It's on me. Lesson.
Here's the other thing, John. I put you go to the trouble of doing the thumbnail, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I didn't put the thumbnail up, and it was just like the YouTube link with my phone. I wonder if anyone would have bothered to click into it and see it.
Good point.
And so I knew consciously, I was like, should I put this thumbnail up? And I was like, but Rocha made it.
Don't ever worry about the thumbnail. Like, do it or don't do it. I don't take it personally. All I ever need you to put up is the link. That's all I ever need you to pull up. I don't give a shit about the thumbnail.
It was the thumbnail, and so it's on me as much as it is you, because I didn't have to tweet the thumbnail.
Fair point. Well, I appreciate you being kind like that, but it's lesson learned. Keenan Watcher says, screw the chatters giving you shit right now, John. Out of left field question. Thank you, Keenan. But have you all heard anything about Disney bets on their theme park-based movies/shows? Tower of Terror, Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, following Haunted Mansion flopping. Yeah, Jeff, have you heard anything on that end for this kind of stuff?
No, this is like Disney Plus fodder. Like all the shows all the movies that basically it's THR, and it's almost always THR does about all like the Disney areas.
Yeah.
The rides and all like Club 33, and it's just like these are not theatrical projects to me.
Yeah, fair point. Well, I can't imagine they're doing anything right now after Haunted Mansion flopping again.
Right. Just like you need. Don't forget Jungle Cruise.
Oh right, yes, Jungle
Cruise did not go well either. So I just don't think at these rides. I get Pirates of the Caribbean. You had Johnny Depp; it was the perfect role, but I would not think of any of these things as theatrical.
Fair point. Anthony V says, I watched The Gilded Age because I love American historical dramas. A few friends I know also watch. Maybe I should get into it. The show does have an audience as HBO renewed it for season 3. I think HBO would have axed the show otherwise after season 1 if the ratings were bad. It's not a matter of nobody's watching. I don't know anybody watching it. That was my point on it. And I am a sucker for historical dramas. So that was the way I was looking at it there. So it's a weird cast that I wouldn't normally watch it. Like the Mr. Selfridge thing with Jeremy Piven. I never watched an episode of that.
Mr. Selfridge.
I was like, he's a weird choice for that role in a PBS. Jeremy Piven on PBS just doesn't make sense. So I felt that way about Gilded Age, but maybe I'll give it a shot. We'll see.
Lloyd!
Philly 19057 says, any news on any upcoming projects from the stars of Baby Reindeer? I think they're still doing press for it, right, Jeff, with the Emmys?
Richard Gadd has that show Lions, I think it's called, which is about two brothers, which I think is going to be really interesting. I don't know if he's going to star in it or not.
Right.
I think he's definitely writing it. So it's all about a matter of whether he's writing himself a role. Maybe he'll take a supporting role. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, does he think of himself more as an actor or a writer? I don't know if anybody's like asked him that in all the press he's done.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Like, is this someone who's like wants a career in front of the camera, or someone who prefers to be a creator? What was the other part of that question?
And that's it. Just any upcoming projects from the stars of Baby Reindeer.
Martha, though. No, I haven't heard anything about Jessica.
Yeah. Joseph, but the British actors work all the time. So she's probably going to be in about 3 TV shows in a moment. Give it a second.
Tom Cruise will find a way to get her in Mission Impossible 8. They'll just keep shooting that. The movie will be out in theaters.
Oh my God.
Go back. We're shooting one more scene. We're going to get fucking Martha Baby Reindeer.
That would be smart as fuck. Joe says, I know this is a long shot, but I will Venmo you each $100 if you can find out who's playing Robin in One Piece season 2 on Netflix. It's filming now. I didn't even watch season 1, so I don't know who even Robin is. Jeff, any knowledge on this?
I have a list of questions that I ask agents.
Oh, there you go. Feel free. You can pocket the 100. Feel free, bro.
Who's hearing? What are you hearing for Robin on One Piece?
There you go.
They'll say, "What are you talking about?"
So
no, I know that was a big hit, but I'm like, that's not for me.
Sloth said, "Do either of you see that saw that Emerald Fennel announced her third feature will be an adaptation of Wuthering Heights? Do you think this will have a modern twist? And any more information on this project?" Yeah, Jeff, you posted about this on your newsletter in the Insnider. So yes, Jeff knew about it, and I knew about it through Jeff because I didn't know that she had signed on. But I give you props for mentioning the Ray Fiennes Juliette Binoche version because I love that version. I recorded that on VHS off of TNT. I enjoyed that version so much. So I'm glad you mentioned it. But
I don't think I've ever seen Wuthering Heights.
Really?
I'm automatically turned off by the title, which just seems like old timey, like classic novels that I used, Cliff Notes monkey for in high school. Cities. But reading up on it, it did actually sound interesting.
Yes.
Right? It's about this dude, Heathcliff, who wants to be with this woman. He falls for her, but then he loses her, and then he spends the rest of his life getting revenge on her family.
Yeah. It's a wicked little story, man. So yeah. Ray Fiennes, that was my first time seeing Ray Fiennes play a villain, but I think it was before Schindler's. So I was just like shocked at seeing him play those moments. Trente says, "Hey guys, Jeff, I loved your newsletter on which horror franchises should be rebooted. Why do you think Mike DeLuca?"
Thank you. It's so nice to hear that people actually read. Thank you.
Why do you think Mike DeLuca, whose first films were the Freddy films at New Line, hasn't made a new reboot a priority? Thanks.
Hey, get this fucking guy off.
Which guy? Is
JC,
there somebody on?
Get him out of here.
Who? JC?
Get him out.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
Well, fuck yourself, guy.
That's all right. Don't give him the time.
All right. What was the question?
Yeah, so the question was why they gave you props for having
Freddie. It was about Freddie. Okay.
Right. Mike, why isn't Mike
the column that's coming? Okay. So I teased that at the bottom because I think that Freddie is its own column, and we do. Yeah. Jamie and I have been thinking long and hard about this. We have some good names, I think.
Nice.
So it's just about finding the right time in the news cycle because you can't do those kinds of stories. You really don't want to do more than one a week, I would say.
Yeah.
Like these. Oh, here I have ideas for you guys and wish list things and casting ideas. Like people want the news. That's why I think if they're subscribing. But every now and then you can do, I think, a fun piece like that. And so that is.
Okay. Fair point. Let's see what else we got here. A couple more, and then we got to get out of here. Sloth said, "Does Sneider have any scoops on movies going to Fall Film Festival in the next few months? Will Trey Edward Schultz's next film with Barry and Jenna be ready for a festival?"
A great question. It seems like that movie should definitely be ready by now. I think that there's still a lot of surprises still to come at TIFF, right? Okay. I think that there's going to be some interesting announcements to come, but
okay.
You're right. That is one that it's like, well, where is it now?
Yeah, right. Okay, let's keep going here. Trente says, also, why don't Sony/Columbia pull the trigger on I Know What You Did Last Summer, Anaconda, or When a Stranger Calls reboots? So much great horror IP just sitting there collecting dust, in my opinion. Jeff?
I mean, they're doing 2 of those 3, right?
Right. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, and Anaconda, there is a script for Anaconda. I have the script for Anaconda. It's very meta, which I think is an interesting way to go with that. I think it's like about potentially like a group of actors who go make a snake movie, right? Yeah. So like they're like there's a real fucking Anaconda there. So, that, but I think that's like in deep development at Sony. When a Stranger Calls, I don't know, they remade that once. It's kind of like a one pony to me, that movie.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-off one. Yeah.
Did you ever see the follow-up, the sequel to When a Stranger Calls Back?
No. No, I never saw that.
It's only memorable for the very last scene, John, when like the killer dresses. I think he puts on like a brick costume and he blows into her brick wall. It's fucking wild. I was like very, very clever. But that's the only thing that's memorable about the sequel. As for what was the first movie that they mentioned?
I know it's last summer.
That's happening. I mean, they're working on that. That is a release date, I think, for next summer.
Wow.
So expect some casting announcements soon.
Is Charles Durning her dad or a cop? Who is Charles Durning in this When a Stranger Calls? I forget. For Carol Kane. I forget.
I think he's the cop.
All right, let's see. Tommy M. Donalds here says, any updates on Jamojaya?
Fuck, dude. We're getting great questions today. No, I haven't. The last update that I got on Jamojaya was that he was recutting it.
Okay.
Going to recut the movie. I don't know what he was planning to emphasize with it or how he was trying to position it or whatever, but I think he was back in the editing room.
Right on. Let's see what else we've got here. Alan Smithy says, yo, Rocha and Sneider, have either of you seen the new Toxic Avenger? Will it ever be released? Is it too gory, inappropriate? I know Snyder's a huge Macon Blair fan and loved his previous films. Also, what Schmodown merch were you going to sell, Jeff? Jeff, are you selling Schmodown merch? What's that all about?
I am. I mean, I have a team belt, bro.
What? Bro, don't sell the team belt. What is wrong with you?
I'm fucking hard up, man.
Have you cleared this with JT?
No, but I don't even know. It is the old belt. I don't think it's
okay.
The new belts with Van Drake. I mean, I've won so many team belts. It's like,
oh, Lord.
Was this? But yeah, like, I don't know. I think a fan might enjoy because right now it's literally in the trunk of my car. What am I going to fucking do with it?
$1,000? What are you selling it for? You got to sell it for $1,000. So you're going to sign it.
Maybe. Anyways, Toxic Avenger. That's another one I don't understand. Okay. Yeah. Like Jordan Rumi just did an article about it. I've been asking around about it recently.
Yeah.
And said their source said it was unreleasable.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
What? Unreleasable?
Are we seeing the movies that are being released in theaters?
Wow.
I mean, I think I saw the first photo today of like Dinklage up close as Toxic Avenger. Like he looks, they look really good. Kevin Bacon's in it. Like, you can't sell this movie. Give me a fucking break.
That's weird. All right, we've got a few more here, Jeff. Can you hang on for a few more minutes? What's your situation?
Yeah, I got a few more minutes, but I gotta get going soon.
Okay, real quick. Let me take a 2-second break so I know where to put this commercial, and then we'll be right back. Wrap this. Okay, all right, let's get into the final ones here. Kyle Fisher says, are you guys excited for the Amazon acquired title Brothers, starring Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage, speaking of which, releasing in late October? Yes or no? I guess.
I actually am curious about that movie. Yeah, I think that could be fun if it's a hard R.
Tammy M. Dewadu says, any scoop or rumors for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. return? I haven't heard anything, Jeff. Have you?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I
thought that was a joke question when that came in. No, I haven't heard anything.
All right. King Sport Cal, what's up, Calvin? Says, American Nightmare is chilling. I didn't think the cops would do that to white people. Seriously, it's good. Blew through it last night. They do it to poor white people or middle-class white people all the fucking time.
I'm surprised. I'm going to say something at the next meeting, King. I'm going to say something.
And finally, Dallas,
police meeting.
Dallas says, who is Mark Strong playing in The Penguin? I have no idea. Jeff, do you? Any clue? No.
Your mom. No, I don't know.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh,
forgive me if your mom is.
Now we got to wrap it up. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. That's our episode here of the Hot Mic. We appreciate you all madly. And thanks for powering through. Say it again. What?
It's a good thing we took that commercial break 90 seconds ago.
I know. Well, I didn't. I thought you kind of long-winded on these answers, but I didn't know you were gonna go short-winded on these, so I would have kept going. But Jeff, please let people know where they can find you and where they can subscribe to your newsletter, my friend.
TheInsnider.com. Just a guy trying to make a living in a town that won't have him anymore, guys. TheInsneider.
Go subscribe, people. Give my man some love.
$100 a year. That's a bargain for an email every day.
Yeah, no, it is a bargain for sure. What a bargain. And follow him at follow him at the Insnider at all the social media channels. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Please hit subscribe. Subscribe if you enjoy the show. You want to support us. You want to get us hanging with the big boys like THR, Variety, and Deadline. Subscribe down below and hit that bell button. Definitely subscribe to Jeff's newsletter as well. Leave your comments down below as well. What do you think of all the stuff we talked about here on the show? And of course, look out for all those stuff coming here later on tonight, 7 p.m. live. The Geek Buddies doing our review of The Acolyte tomorrow, Jedi Way. Spill the Tequila on Friday. All stuff coming from us here on the Outlaw Nation. We love you madly. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And we'll talk to you next week with another brand new episode here of The Hot Mic. Peace.
Bye.